From the Homestead Studios in Santa Clarita, California, this is a Headache Soul production. Welcome to Just the Tip-Sters, America's favorite true crime podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Morgan. With me today is my handsome and talented co-host, Joshua Splinter Bevan.
Oh no, Splinter.
He's a tiny pain in the butt. And that is not a comment on your manhood.
Okay. Oh, God. Jesus. Oh. Damn.
I'm sorry.
Oh, boy.
We all know my policy. Exit only. So, yeah.
There's a tattoo and everything.
That's right. It's an indelible ink right above my butt.
It's permanent.
Right. In purple.
Oh, boy.
I'm sorry, Splinter. I just thought that was a good...
Splinter.
That was a good one.
My nerd brain went to like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, I don't even know what that means, but okay. Once again, you're speaking Farsi.
Yes.
Whatever. So big news this week. Crayola is bringing some colors out of retirement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've retired colors over the years. Now, I was unfamiliar with, I think it might be called Daisy Yellow or something. That's like the one that most people are all jazzed about. From back in the, 90s, when they discontinued Raw Umber.
Raw Umber.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one kind of broke my heart. I don't know about you
what
guys.
kind of a color is raw? Is that a brownish?
Like terracotta, kind of.
Okay,
like a
reddish,
light.
brownish?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I don't know what you kids were like, but I'm a horrible artist and I can't stay in the lines and would just love to color for hours. And what I really like to do is color things what would be an unexpected color. Like my people, sometimes their skin would be green or blue, and their hair would be purple. Yeah. And, I'm not colorblind.
This tracks.
Yeah.
This seems like your kind of creativity.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I like how you said that.
She's very...
with air quotes around it.
Creative.
Yeah. That's your way of saying damaged or broken. Yeah. My God bless Betty Morgan. She would constantly replace my 64. I felt like I was rich.
Oh.
Because I had the 64 Crayolas, the big pack.
The 64 and she would buy you new ones frequently?
Yeah, probably twice a year.
Oh.
I would go through them pretty quickly.
Wow.
Yeah. And it had the sharpener in the back.
Do you really color like this? I
hold it like a monkey. Won't you shut up? Why are you so mean to me, Splinter? Why are you so mean? No, I first had my right hand was around my knee, so I couldn't really use it, but I was using my left hand, because I'm right-handed. So anyway, yeah, stop interrupting my important crayon story.
Okay.
Loved me the crayons. I don't know if you ever remember going to like restaurants and they give you a little pack of 3.
Oh yeah.
Those were so terrible. I think I pushed too hard because I break them a lot.
Yeah.
But when you colored with them, they were like wax.
Yeah, they were definitely not the Crayola.
No.
They were not even like the off-brand. They were like
off.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm thinking of the word like Richmond or Richland or something. I just remember like it having a different name, but you would get like 3 colors, which is not, you can't really do a whole lot. But yeah, I remember also smelling the paper after, and they smelled like wax, the shitty ones. So anyway, I'm just really excited. Raw Umber's coming back.
Okay.
That was a really long story for no payoff, but I am excited. I have quite a few adult coloring books. I don't mean like with dicks. Okay. I do have a couple, but those were sent to me. I didn't buy those. I have curse word ones. I have
how more than one person,
more than one of the listeners sent me
adult
coloring books,
kind of person,
with naked people and funny things. So anyway, I have 2 serial killer books.
Nice.
Serial killer coloring books.
I hear people talk about a Zen kind of meditative.
Yeah.
You're
into
sitting
a zone
there and you're just coloring and you're
Let me tell you
thinking.
something.
Yeah,
As a
I haven't.
slob,
Yeah.
we have to have a color date. You have to come over
I'll
sometime.
try. Maybe that's what it is. I've tried by myself. Maybe if I have.
And you don't even have to be talking much. You can be quiet and kind of in your own zone, but you're not by yourself.
Yeah, maybe
Totally. I love to color with other people.
Yeah. Okay.
And I have, oh my God, I can't wait to show you my collection. I have many crayons, but I also have colored pencils, colored markers. I have everything you can use to make a color on a piece of paper. And a lot of it I've been really blessed. People have given me, but I have like a little 4-drawer chest downstairs, all my coloring books and shit.
Okay.
And I haven't done it in a long time. We definitely have to plan we can just like go to like a Bodhi Leaf and sit there and color. What?
Oh.
And drink coffee and not talk.
What was the new one? I just heard about a new one. A new coffee spot that
San Fernando
it's
coffee?
not new. It's it's the one by the church that used to be run by the church, but is now
Wait. Oh, I got you. McKenna Coffee used
is that
to
what
be.
it's called?
Yeah. Right next to Flying Yolk.
And so I never would go there because they would pitch Jesus at me too hard every time I went there. I mean, it was good coffee, but I'm like, all right, enough with the like. I'm good on the pitch.
Right.
But
hey, have you heard the good news about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Which, by the way, Tip-Sters, is how I start every phone call with Joshua. I call him and I say, do you have a few moments to hear the good news about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Yeah. And then I hear click. That was my Doppler effect of dial tone.
Wait, sir.
It's me. It's Melissa. Right.
Yeah. No, let's go. Let's go get coffee and color.
And I have many.
And you have a travel case, like you can.
Sir.
Oh boy.
I have taken them to Kentucky to color with my best friend Angela.
Okay.
You have many choices too. I'm very excited. You have like woodland creatures. You have fairies. You have a lot of unicorn books. 2 serial killers. And a partridge in a pear tree. I got a lot. So we're definitely planning a color date, and we'll let the Tipsters know how it goes.
Yes.
Please. Yeah, we'll take pictures. Yeah. We'll try out the previous Jesus coffee place and color. Okay. So I think we're good.
Good.
I'm very happy. Okay, so I need to say a special thank you to Tipster John. It is one of the sweetest things, and it's bittersweet. It's a little bit heartbreaking when someone discovers the podcast and they don't know what has happened. So John sent me the sweetest email last Friday, and he said, okay, so I think that the subject line of the email was awesome show.
Nice.
He says, okay, so complete disclosure. I have absolutely no idea how I found your podcast, but now that I found it, I love it. I started at the beginning. I think it's the beginning. Right now I'm on episode 40. Lots of Golden State Killer stuff. It's terrific. You and Mark are awesome. I know I'm quite a few years behind, but I'm catching up. I hope you're both well. I look forward to hearing more. Oh, wow. I'm in my truck 9 hours a day, so I have lots of time to catch up. Please keep up the good work, both of you guys. Oh, and more cowbell. So when you get a sweet message like that, it takes you back and you got to think for a minute how to answer.
Sure.
So I said, thank you, John, for your kind words. Thank you for listening. I'm so happy you have good taste. And then a bunch of laughing emojis. Yeah. And then I said, this part's tough, but we lost Mark in 2021 and I floundered a bit. And I have an amazing co-host, Joshua, who has, kept me going, which if I don't say it enough, please know how grateful I am to you.
Well, thank you.
I know the Tipsters know, people have said, it's so good to hear you laughing again. And they said they can hear me smile. They can hear me smile.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I thank you for bringing the smile back because I think I was really kind of numb for a while,
Sure.
So anyway, I'm
still in the moment of that Tipster John was in. Like, how do you?
Yeah.
He's in a different time.
Yeah.
And yeah.
He will. I didn't want to bust his bubble.
Yeah,
but I wanted
you can't not.
I'll tell you the thing that changed me was Tipster Miranda, who is, I thought she was a mail carrier, but she might be a delivery person. She listened to the podcast, for years and then got up to the part where I apologized for taking 4 months off because I couldn't walk or talk or breathe.
Right.
And she was driving and she said I had to pull over.
Wow.
Because I couldn't stop crying and I couldn't see. And I was like, oh gosh, people find the podcast when they find it.
Right.
But when he took the time 40 episodes in to tell me he liked it, and I'm telling you, hang on, John, it gets better. In my mind, it gets better. But that I didn't want him to be listening unaware. And then, it's so hard to talk about this stuff, but we have to.
Yeah.
We really have to. So
no, and I think that's one of the magical parts of this medium is everybody's you're in their cars or their earbuds or whatever, and you're their friend.
Right.
Like and Mark was a friend for a long time, and he still gets to be. That's kind of neat, and
it is wonderful. I'll tell you, Mark was a singer-songwriter, and after he passed, a lot of his friends said, I listened to him all the time, and I couldn't.
Oh, I went back and listened to his recordings.
Took me a long time. And then, because I was afraid what would happen if I heard his voice.
Yeah.
I was afraid I'd lose my shit or something. But it's bittersweet, like the email from John. It's you laugh and you cry.
Yeah.
And sometimes both at the same time, Yeah. I had to listen to an episode that we did, a long time ago, one day this week. And I was laughing and crying and I was like, oh, Mark. And he was just, the best. And he was such a good wrangler of me because I could, occasionally fly off somewhere. I'm sure you don't know anything about that, really? Joshua, but yeah. It was great to hear him again. And I was like, I was right there. I was transported back and it was like he was still here. So, I know John will hear this one day when he gets caught up, and I want him to know how much his email meant to me.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah, it was, kind of fun having to figure out a way to tell him. And
Oof, yeah. Wow.
And he was so sweet. His response was, I said, I'd love to send you some swag, so I got a little group of things together from him. He goes, you don't have to send me anything. Don't feel obligated. I will love you and the show no matter what,
Aww.
Yeah, it was, he's obviously a really good guy. So thank you, John, for that beautiful gift.
Yeah, wow.
And you know what else is a beautiful gift is Magic Mind. I have been tired and crabby, as Joshua can attest. And it is helping me be less tired and crabby.
Yeah.
I pull out these like little magical cards every day to kind of guide me. And I keep pulling this one that says, ideas come during meditation. You need more rest. And I'm like, fuck you. I need to go do things.
There's too much to do.
That's right. Too much to do. That's exactly it. It's like you're in my head. So Magic Mind keeps me from flying off the handle and yelling and not doing good things for myself. It is, once again, Joshua sits here and sees me, like swallow a vitamin C pill the size of, I don't know, New Hampshire.
God, there were so many pills.
Yeah, stop it.
We were in the middle of another sentence and I stopped and went, what are you? How many pills?
It's all, shut up. None of them are bad. But what's really good is Magic Mind, which has so many amazing, vitamins and minerals that help me get through the day. They keep me balanced and level. It's, helps you with focus and clarity, and you can combine it with your caffeine. It's not a replacement for caffeine. If you like coffee, or if you're me and you like Mountain Dew Kickstart, way too much of it. It's, it's a wonderful thing. And I keep forgetting the joy of it is that I like to just drink it. It's an elixir. It's a shot. It's 2 ounces.
Right.
I just like to drink it because I do like the flavor of the Magic Mind Day. day elixir. But you can put it in a smoothie, or you can add it to another drink, and because it will not like disrupt the flavor of anything. If
Right.
anything, it will enhance it. They describe the flavor as being slightly sweet, but it is a gift. And I was, a client before they were a sponsor, and I'm, just so happy with the results and how I feel. And I definitely need help with my neuroreceptors, because they're always like, hey, you're tired. And then you could, take a magic mind in the morning, and you could take more than one a day. When I was going to school at night, I would take one in the afternoon, and it kept me going. When I was working during the day and taking class at night, it kept me going. So
Cool.
if you would like to give something to yourself that you can add to your tool belt, consider going to magicmind.com, and the promo code area, put tips is 20, and it is a gift to you. It's a real gift to you. So this episode is kind of interesting and different, and I found so much about it, but because it's been a while ago, it's I feel like there's been things added and extra theories that maybe don't need to be there. It's it's a really different case. I'd never heard of it, and I feel a little dense because she had so many connections that you would have thought I would have heard about it by now, and she was my age. I wouldn't have heard about it when it happened, um, because she was 18 and in Florida, and I was 18 and in Kentucky.
Mm.
But you would have thought I would have heard about it by now because of all of the connections, which I'm going to get to. And it is the case of Tammy Lynn Leppert. And
Okay.
she was this, I've heard a couple of podcasts cover it. She was on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries. Um, she is a interesting girl. A lot of things like this happen, but she had a very different kind of beginning, that you thought she had the kind of promise that something like this would not have happened. And not because she was described as uncommonly beautiful, which she was, but because she was sweet and kind, and, worked hard and wanted to be an actress.
Okay.
So her mom, Linda, she has these kids and with her husband, and she decides to start like a talent management company, because her middle daughter, Tammy Lynn, is so hyperactive and ADHD and
Okay.
talented and beautiful. And um, she has, an older daughter, Debbie, then she has Tammy Lynn, and then she has a little son, Ricky. There's a couple of years separating each one. Like the space between Tammy Lynn and Ricky is like 7 years. The space between Debbie, her older sister, and Tammy Lynn's about 4 years.
Okay.
So by the time she's 2, she's in pageants.
Oh wow.
And I'm thinking, ooh, like kind of a, John Bonet thing.
Yeah.
Except that here's her mom managing her, and
Mm.
her mom ends up getting other clients because she's so
Okay.
good at managing Tammy Lynn.
Okay.
And Tammy Lynn is apparently a unique little performer. They have all of these really sweet articles I found in like the Orlando Sentinel. Um, this one says she is Brevard, which is Brevard County in Florida. Brevard's answer to Shirley Temple.
Oh wow.
Yeah. She
Okay.
was this beautiful little girl. She really was. And, she, by the time, I'm trying to remember the age, but she, um, like maybe her whole career, like up to her teens, she was in over 300 pageants and had won
Wow.
280.
That's a nice record.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's
There's some really hilarious names for these things. Little Miss Florida, Little Miss Talent, Little Miss Firecracker, and here's my favorite one, Queen of the Earth.
Queen of the Earth.
She's 10. She
She's,
wins that when she's 10.
Listen, I've got a niece who thinks she's 9 and she thinks she's Queen of the Earth. Yeah.
Well, what's so great about Tammy Lynn, she had actually won a pageant, and there was a mix up with the judges and they announced the wrong name. And she was just like, yay for the other girl. And she's
Oh,
like, that's okay. There'll be
just
another one. And then
happy
they
for
tell her
her.
later, oh,
Oh, that's
hey,
sweet.
right. That's what I mean. She's not like a brat. She, her mom is, I would say, kind of strict, but not in a militaristic way.
Okay.
She said she has to learn something from each pageant. If
Okay.
she doesn't learn something, like whether it's how to, engage with the judges, how, sportsmanship, how to,
Sure.
she said, then that's when we don't do this anymore.
Okay.
And she said it was a family affair. Like her older sister would help her pick out, outfits and
Right.
help her practice any routine she was doing. And her younger brother would, like stand there and clap and say, that's really good, sissy. I mean, the
Yeah.
whole family was involved. She
Oh,
said it's a
sweet.
family activity. It isn't just something I do with Tammy Lynn and exclude the other kids. We do this together as a family.
Okay.
So yeah, her
That
mom,
sounds super healthy.
it does. And when you think about it, I mean, I feel like she was like the perfect person to be in pageants, because if I happened to have been a cute little kid, which I wasn't, I would have been in pageants. And when I lost, I would have turned the judges table over and set it on fire. So I am not.
What is this?
Yeah. What the fuck? How could you not pick me? So yeah, she was a good
Okay.
good kid to be in pageants, and she took it for granted. Like she didn't see herself the way everyone else did. I mean, when she was in the newspaper all the time as a youngster. She, at a really young age, like maybe 12 or 13, she was on the cover of a now defunct magazine called CoverGirl.
Oh, I know CoverGirl.
CoverGirl
Yeah,
magazine.
that was huge.
Yeah, she was on the cover. Yeah,
Wow.
like at
Okay.
a very young age, like at 12 or 13. She looked older. She looked more mature.
Okay.
I don't mean like, va 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 voom, but she did have a beautiful figure as she
Okay.
got to be in her teens,
Okay.
but she she didn't use it.
Got it.
She said, I don't have a whole lot of friends, but the ones I do know me really well, and they don't, let me take myself too seriously. And I
Cool.
mean, I feel like she kept a pretty level head.
Cool.
So she was in like local commercials and local ads, and she was like a little local star in
Okay.
her area of Rockledge, Florida. It's
Okay.
about 5 miles from Cocoa Beach.
Got it.
So her first role in a film was the movie Little Darlings. Now that had Tatum O'Neal and Christy McNichol and even Matt Damon was in it, and it's
Okay.
it's I remember being 14 or something, 13 or 14 when it came out. And I remember being curious, but not enough to want to know more. It's a bunch of kids.
Right.
Christy McNichol is from the poor side of town. Tatum Neal is from the rich part of town. And they are foisted in to a contest of who can lose their virginity first.
Okay.
It was controversial. They call it a teen comedy. I
Yeah,
just
I feel
remember
like I did
feeling
must have
uncomfortable.
seen
Like I'm a
it.
teenager in that age group, and I'm like,
Sure.
oh, this is not, I don't like this.
Yeah.
This is not good. I mean, I felt pressure just knowing about it,
Got it.
like we're all supposed to do, because I loved those kind of girls when I loved
Right.
movie magazines and shit. So she is in the film, and her role is mostly cut out.
Okay, so she's a side character, and then
Yes.
that character gets
Yes.
cut. Got it.
She was unhappy with how it turned out. It opened in 3 theaters in Brevard County, like on a Friday night.
Okay.
And she wasn't happy with how it turned out, but she was like, that's okay. There'll be other opportunities.
Sure.
But what's interesting to me is that a journalist, Doug, and maybe it's just like third hand news and gossip, found out that Christy McNichol and Tatum O'Neal had Tammy Lynn ushered off the set when a journalist came to do a story on the movie.
Oh, like they're jealous?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And I will tell you, she's really beautiful.
Okay.
Like,
Wow.
uncommonly beautiful is such a great description. And
Well,
just that kind of magical girl that doesn't know it,
yeah. Okay.
just has like blonde hair and green eyes and, just like doesn't she has big fluffy hair sometimes like Farrah Fawcett, and then other times she's the girl next door, and she
Nice.
can do it.
Cool.
She can switch back and forth, and she
Okay.
looks, gorgeous any way
Okay.
she is presented. Um, she got to be, I guess, taller because when she was 15, she was only about 5'2". So by the time she disappears at the age of 18, she's probably 5'7", 5'8",
Oh wow. Okay.
and has a gorgeous figure,
Yeah.
like a grown-up figure,
Okay.
like not big giant boobs, but like athletic,
Okay.
long legs, and like a Christy Brinkley, like
Mm,
that look,
okay.
not like
Got it.
Playboy, but
Sure.
like, she's just beautiful. She's a really beautiful girl.
Right.
So, she gets another role in a movie called Spring Break that turns out to be pretty popular. It made about $34 million, I guess. Sometime, let's see, what year was that? 82, I think. And I guess probably on the set, it may have even been earlier than Little Darlings. She met a friend named Wing Flanagan, a little boy actor. He was
Okay.
also very beautiful, little blonde boy. And Linda becomes his manager. And for some reason, I don't know if his family lived too far away, he comes to live with the Leppert family.
Okay.
He is like in age wise, he's closer. He's between Tammy Lynn and Ricky. So he's
Okay.
younger than
He's a little
her, but
younger.
not by much. But he
Got it.
becomes like a little brother.
Okay.
And they, would go on auditions together if they were looking
Cool.
for boys and girls, and they were not competitive.
Cool.
They really, ended up having a very close bond. And, this one story that everyone rehashes, it's kind of sweet. He's a little younger than her. And as she would leave to go to, like auditions, she would kiss all of her siblings goodbye, and she
Oh.
would kiss Wing on the cheek. And he was like, she always left her lipstick.
Oh.
Oh man, he said I couldn't get it off.
Oh.
And then he said later on, I began to take it as a badge of honor.
Oh.
When you're a
Sweet.
little kid, you're like, ooh, icky.
Right.
I don't want that girl to, but then it's like, okay, it's my sister,
Right.
Yeah, it was like, it's very sweet.
That's super sweet.
So she makes Spring Break, the film, and it's, coming out, and it's getting it's a I feel terrible saying this, especially because of the pageant shit, but it's a teen exploitation film.
Okay.
And Little Darlings was
Yeah.
a teen exploitation film.
Yeah.
Except it was like rated PG or something. It wasn't,
Sure.
the whole topic was just gross to
Yeah.
me. They were too young to be, taking bets on who could lose their virginity first. So Spring Break is, a more advanced level of that.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's that era of teen
Yes, sir.
stuff that's kind of like it follows like Porky's and all that, and
Yes,
tries to
sir.
be that, but
Right.
you didn't spend long enough on the script for it to be that.
It's pretty girls
Yeah.
in bikinis on the beach
and
and a thin storyline. Yeah.
and it's
Yeah,
gonna sell
exactly.
tickets because of that. Yeah.
Right. Apparently her figure, her body was used on the poster for Spring Break.
Okay.
Because she's, she's really lovely.
Yeah.
So she films Spring Break and comes home, and before it's released, they have a big premiere party.
Okay.
But it's in a different part of Florida. It's a bit away,
Okay.
and it's a weekend party. Cast and crew party. They probably like rented a big, fancy, stupid house in
Right.
Florida. So her mom lets her go with another friend, doesn't, chaperone her because she's 18.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the cast and crew from the film. And she didn't have a bad experience.
Time
right.
on the yeah.
So she comes home from the party, and that's July of 82. She is completely different. She is paranoid. She goes into seclusion. She won't drink anything unless she support it. She will not eat anything anyone else made for her.
Oh,
At one
no.
point, she makes Wing, her, kind of, ersatz brother, test her food.
Okay.
Yeah.
So somebody drugged her on the
Well,
thing or
she
salt.
doesn't. That's actually a really good theory. That's never been posited as a theory, but
Okay.
she is different, and she is definitely suffering some mental health issues. She finally confides in her mom.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say if I told you they're after me?
Oh, wow.
And she says, "Who is they?"
Right.
Now, Tammy Lynn will not ever say who they is.
Okay.
She says they want to kill me. I heard and saw some things I shouldn't have.
Oh, jeez.
Um, she rambles a little bit, and her mom tries to um, take notes and remember things.
Right.
She mentions money laundering
Oh.
and some sort of incident of violence that happened over this weekend
Okay.
when she's out of town at the rap party.
At the party.
Yeah. So it kind of spirals down. She gets more and more suspicious and quiet, and becomes more of an introvert. The neighbors get a van that have windows on the side, and they're mirrored. And she is very upset and says, they can see us, but we can't see them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right. So she gets another role
Mm-hmm.
in what turns out to be Scarface.
Oh,
Pretty big
yeah.
movie. She plays a girl who is distracting. Oh man, not Tony Montana, but Al Pacino's like cohort during like a bank robbery or something. She's just like a beautiful girl,
Okay.
who's and she. Everyone was like, "Oh, she's really good." There were producers
Yeah.
and other people on the set, and they were like, "She's really talented, and
Okay.
I can see her being in movies easily."
Going far. Cool.
So it's
Okay.
like 4 days in, and she was staying in Miami where they filmed it with a family friend, Walter Leibowitz, who is an attorney,
Okay.
an old family friend of her mom, Linda. By now, her mom and her dad are divorced. So her mom is kind of taking care of everybody, but she's successful as this talent manager.
Right.
So a casting person calls Walter would take her to the set
Mm-hmm.
and then pick her up, like
Okay.
making sure everything's okay.
Right.
She's 18, but still,
Yeah. Okay.
So he gets a call from the set and says, Tammy Lynn can't finish the day. She is having some sort of a breakdown.
Oh, no. Okay.
Sorry, they now call it a mental health crisis. Not
Sure.
breakdown, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. No.
She was inconsolable and filled with anxiety and crying. And Walter comes to pick her up, and he said, what happened? And the person on the set said, it was a scene where someone was getting shot and was bleeding copiously. And she, had like a trigger, like a PTSD.
Sure. Okay.
So, and she couldn't stop crying. So they remove her from the set, and she quits the film.
Oh.
I guess she filmed enough to stay in it, but
Okay, so
you can probably see her.
Worked
but
around that.
Yeah.
Okay.
She would have had more time on screen, I'm
Right.
sure. But so she goes home, and she becomes more and more. She's hiding in her room and not talking. And at one point, she comes out and looks out the front window and is like, they're watching me. They're watching me. So she opens the door, walks out, and the door closes behind her and locks. She panics, thinking she's outside in the crosshairs of whoever is following her. She takes a baseball bat and she crashes the front window in.
Oh, wow.
Wing Flanagan hears the ruckus, comes running, doesn't know what's happening.
Right.
Opens the front door to let her in.
Right.
And because she was trying to climb in the window with broken glass.
Oh, jeez.
And she attacks him. She knocks him down on the floor and starts beating him with her fist. and saying, why did you lock me out? Why did you leave me out there for them to get me? They're going to kill me. What is wrong with you? Beating the shit out of him.
Oh God.
So her mother, Linda, picks her up and takes her to a hospital for a 72-hour hold. While there, they test her. There is no drugs. There is no liquor. There is nothing in her system, chemically.
Yeah.
They determine after a 72-hour hold that she is not a danger to herself or others.
Okay.
Her mother comes to pick her up and takes her to the police station and says, will you tell them? I don't have to sit here if you don't want me to. Will you tell them what you saw?
Right.
What upset you so badly?
Right.
She tells them what she thinks she witnessed at the rap party, and nothing that she says, they seem to take her seriously, but nothing can be corroborated.
Okay. So okay.
No gunfire, no one bled, no one went to the hospital, no one died, no one's missing. No one knows anything about money laundering. It was a rap party in celebration for spring break coming up.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So a few days after, we're now into July. The filming was around March. The filming started in March of Scarface.
Okay.
So we're now, early July. She calls an old friend, Keith Roberts. Now, they were dating when she was 17 and he was 21.
Okay.
Right. It shouldn't be a problem, but some states it is.
Well, that's that really weird time where that 4 years feels like a lot, whereas
it depends.
From 26 to 30,
nothing.
It doesn't matter.
It depends on the people. It's case by case.
Right.
I know people that were 18 and dated someone who was 17 and they got in trouble. And that's just not, shouldn't. Yeah. Anyway, she was always considered a very mature girl, obviously, growing up in the pageant world and then, entertainment. And that might come into things later, right? Because we know not everybody in the entertainment world is ethical.
Yeah. No.
In the 80s. And
just in the 80s.
Right.
Yes.
No, just in the 80s. No. And, and in the entertainment industry, I mean, it's not new. Shirley Temple was molested, I mean, yeah. And she's, Tammy Lynn is exquisitely beautiful girl. So she calls her old boyfriend. They didn't live that close to each other, but they'd stayed in contact.
Okay.
So she calls him and says, will you come and get me? So she gets in the car and she's talking to Keith and she says, can I borrow $300? I want to run away and become a nurse. Now, when I've always wanted to work in the medical field. Now, when she was younger, her mom was like, she wants to be a veterinarian, but she was like 5.
Right.
She's like, kids change their mind, but I will support her in whatever career she wants.
Right.
So she tells Keith, I've always wanted to work in the medical field. Can I have $300? And I'm not happy living at home. My mom put me in the nut house. He doesn't know that means a 72-hour hold.
Right.
It's because she broke the front window and attacked her brother.
Right.
It's not because her mom was like, I'm going to punish her. It was in fact, the thing that breaks my heart is that Linda and Wing Flanagan said she was just like completely out of control. And, Wing is trying to hold her down, like keep her arms down. And her mom kept saying, it's me, it's your mom, it's me, it's me. And she finally like snapped back. And then her mom takes her to the hospital. Can't say I blame her.
Sure. Yeah. At that point, you don't.
Well, it was like, you're right. It's not, it didn't happen yesterday. It's been months of.
Right. There's all kinds of weird stuff. And
Right.
then all of a sudden your other adopted kid or your whatever, and you got to protect everybody.
Right.
And yeah. If he weren't standing there and she broke the window and tried to climb through, she would have hurt herself.
Right. You never know. I mean, she could have bled out or something.
Right. And
yeah, he probably saved her life that day.
Yeah. Saved her from injury or
right.
at least. Yeah. Yeah. God, that's that parenting spot where you're.
So we're going to get to theories of what we think might have happened. Okay.
Okay.
Because there's more. So Keith picks her up around between 11 and 11:30, and her mom remembers the last thing she said was, goodbye, Mom. I love you. I'll see you in a few hours. Okay.
Okay.
And Linda's like, okay. So she leaves with Keith Roberts, who's a little bit older, and they're driving around. And she says, will you please take me to my friend's house in, oh, it's so far away. Hold on. Fort Lauderdale.
Oh,
It's like 2.5 hours away
Cocoa
from Cocoa
Beach, all
Beach.
the way to
Yeah,
Fort
yeah, yeah.
Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he says, no,
Yeah,
no.
that's a whole
He
thing.
did not mind giving her the $300, but he's like, I'm not, no.
I'm driving all over.
So they're only about 5 miles away from her house
Right.
and in Cocoa Beach. And it's it's the middle of the afternoon or whatever. She demands to be let out of the car.
Okay.
She's like, let me out now. So he lets her out. Again, it's about 5 miles from her house. And there is some confusion. He says, I let her out in a parking lot 2 blocks south of something called the Glass Bank. I don't know if it's an actual bank or if it's a, like a lending institution or if it is a bank of water. A bank.
Oh, a bank.
Yeah.
It's going to be a bank.
Right. I don't know what every time I see the Glass Bank, I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I can't imagine it being like a bank where you get money, but maybe.
Well, sure. Okay.
Hey, in Cincinnati, one of the most popular banks is Fifth Third.
Fifth Third?
5 over 3. What the fuck does that mean? I know.
Okay.
No one's ever answered me. Why is it Fifth Third?
Oh my God. All right.
So yeah, Fifth Third and Glass Bank may not be connected, but I'm just saying it's kind of odd. So he says he dropped her off in a parking lot, 2 blocks south of the Glass Bank. And that's like supposed to be a geographical marker, right? So she is still freaking out and she makes 3 calls, apparently still has the $300 of what Keith said is true. She makes 3 phone calls, probably from a phone booth, to her aunt, Linda's sister's business. Her Aunt Ginger is out of town at a business conference. And I'm so sorry. Every time I think about Ginger's business, I wonder, what's this conference like? Because her business is called Balloonatics.
Balloonatics?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh boy. All right.
Can you imagine
she's a balloon lady.
I'm staying at the Holiday Inn. Yeah. And they're a big balloon conference. And I don't know if it's clowns coming at you trying to make a dog. I'm just trying to imagine the conference for Balloonatics. Yeah.
Yes.
So she was not there. And Tammy Lynn leaves 3 messages on her voicemail, each one getting increasingly more panicked.
Oh,
and her aunt says it sounds like she is running or hiding from someone.
Oh, geez.
Right. So later in the day, she doesn't come home.
Oh, boy.
July 6th, Linda calls Keith, tries to get a hold of him. He doesn't answer. She finally goes to the police department and files a missing persons case. They question Keith, and there is, again, a little, discrepancy in how things went. Because they said he denied. No, he agreed to do a polygraph, but refused to speak to them.
Wait.
Right.
So he's just going to sit there and hooked up to a polygraph machine and not talk? That doesn't matter.
No, they can ask him questions for the polygraph, but he will not be interviewed about what happened. He said he gave a statement like, look, I let her out. She disappeared. I don't know.
Okay, here's my story, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay.
Right. So her sister, Debbie, has a Facebook page that I really hope that you'll, look at, because she, she's like, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up. Sometimes she'll go a long time without posting because she'll explain and say, you know what, I've been sick, but I'm here Today is the anniversary. This year it'll be 42 years since she disappeared. We're not going to give up. So that's her sister Debbie, her older sister Debbie. Her mother Linda filed a civil suit against Keith Roberts, saying he did it. I don't believe that went anywhere. And the police, we just thought, we just ruled him out. The last person seen with her, I dropped her off, never saw her again. No one does. Was his car, examined? Nope.
Oh.
Was his home, a warrant for a search? Nope.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Now, the only thing I can find about Keith Roberts is that he was arrested in 2017 for cocaine usage, and he does not look good. And he was beautiful.
Okay.
He was a very handsome, young man. So I don't know if his life is spiraled down. I don't know, but yeah.
Huh.
Right. So wait.
Yeah.
There's more.
Go ahead, please.
2 active serial killers were in the area at the time.
Okay.
One is Christopher Wilder, who we covered in episode 31 of this podcast. He was known as the Beauty Queen Killer.
Oh.
He became very successful. He's Australian.
Okay.
And he moved to the U.S. when he was pretty young. But he had prior attacks on women in Australia, which they didn't know about because, you're moving to another country, right? The reason I wanted to cover him, because, we know how much I love talking about serial killers, not at all. But, and especially him, he was real fucked up, is that he had fallen into a pool under the age of 2, and his mother or father got him out and resuscitated him. There is a theory that if you are deprived of oxygen before the age of 2, that I don't know if it affects your, medulla oblongata or your limbic system, where you just constantly need something pressing on that to give you joy or pleasure.
Right.
So yeah, I was fascinated by him.
Yeah.
And he's a piece of shit. He raped 12 women and killed 8 women. Raped at least 12. And he died in a, spoiler alert, he died in a, death by cop suicide shootout in New Hampshire.
Jesus.
Yeah. After a 6-week, tour across the country with a hostage and just.
Wow.
Yeah. So he was active in that time. He would plant himself at malls and find really pretty girls and he'd have a very expensive camera and say, "Hey, I shoot pictures for magazines for models." He'd lure them,
Right.
So there's that one.
Okay.
And then there is another active serial killer named Charlie Brandt, who actually I don't believe they figured out all that he had done until his death.
Oh.
Something happened that they ended up with his DNA in the system, and it's ding, 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 ding,
Oh, okay.
So there were 2 active serial killers. Now, let's go over a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
Did she walk away from her life because of mental health issues?
Okay.
Did she get out of Keith Roberts' car? The only statement we have is from him. Did she get out of his car? Well, we know she got out of the car because she called her aunt. But did she wander around and meet with foul play?
Sure.
Let's put that one on the back burner.
And that's the serial killer idea.
Yes, or just somebody who isn't even known as a serial killer, but picks up a girl and does something terrible. Did she actually see something at the party? And if it were on a big level, could they have put her in witness protection?
Oh, okay. So you were saying, as you were saying that, I was like, they found their opportunity to get her, and they got her.
Would they have been following her?
Or the other side is
she planned to get in a fight with Keith and get out of the car,
and
they picked her up and she started a new life.
Because she has been talking. She went to the local police, told the story. The local police didn't do anything, but that went somewhere inside law enforcement circles, and went to people who then she was talking to and got a new life. Okay.
Right.
Wow.
The entertainment industry is nothing if not dirty as fuck.
Sure.
So, it's a long shot, but perhaps, money laundering would be a federal crime.
Yeah.
And if she's going to testify or, be a witness against somebody big, I mean, shit, it was she was working on the movie Scarface, but I mean, it was about the movie Spring Break where she had the breakdown. But you know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
it could have been,
Oh
this
God.
is just another theory.
How cool would that be, though, if the movie Scarface was a front for a money laundering
Who would be
operation?
shocked?
Like,
Who would be shocked?
I don't know.
Right.
I think it's just, yeah.
I mean, it's an epic classic. So,
sure.
in how bad it is.
No, but when you say that, I mean, that would be funny and that would be a joke. But if you were going to try and launder money through the entertainment industry, a crappy teen exploitation film would be a great place to do it.
That ends up probably getting you more at the box office than you expected because there's horny teens.
Sure.
Right.
Sure. And still, I mean, the laundering portion was already done, right? Like you would already have funneled money through and fed it to however many Teamsters
right.
you employed on this film,
right.
that cost way more than it really did. And that's, there's the laundered money.
So she walks away from her life, possibly. There's no remains, nothing found. That's one of the things that is tough when there's not a shred. She was wearing a denim skirt, a flowered shirt, and flip-flops when she went missing, and a blue purse. There's nothing found that, tied back to her. We're also talking 1983. Who knows, how collections were done back then. They could have thought, oh, some homeless person lost their purse or something.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. She had a mental health issue, which she had quite a bit before, and walked away from her life. She was followed by they, and they took her out, whoever they is.
Right.
She maybe she did see something and it was, reported higher up, and maybe she had to go into witness protection.
Right.
Keith Roberts, his story is all we have, and it could be the complete and honest truth, or maybe she went and called her aunt 3 times and maybe he circled back because he was angry and picked her back up and did something.
Right.
I know.
Wow. And
what is so heartbreaking is every person that saw her work said she has so much promise. I don't know, an executive, and didn't remember her last name. Her first name was Helen, in Los Angeles, said, I saw the dailies from Spring Break, and she has a lot of talent. I am negotiating. I'm not representing her yet, but I'm negotiating, probably with her mom.
Oh, okay.
So her goal was to go to Los Angeles to be an actress.
And it sounds like she was on her way. If she's getting a bit part in Scarface, huge movie, okay, and then the next one is a not so small part in a bigger movie, and
exactly,
and then, and if she's already on the posters of stuff, like she's about to break.
Exactly. And it isn't just like this girl's pretty. She grew up, had a great body, and then just, decided I'm going to utilize this. She's wanted to be, her mom puts her in pageants because she's got so much energy and she's jumping around. It's like, please, do something with this. But I mean, look at this little, here she is at 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah, the Farrah Fawcett hair. And it's not revealing. Yeah. It's just her legs are out, but she has like a strapless, looks like it might be a long kind of bathing suit.
It is a dress or I thought it was a towel.
Oh no, it's like a little, it's an old, this is from, Jesus Christ, I don't know how many. This is from Today Today magazine, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
and she's pretty with a cute
Yeah,
kind
she's
of
got a girl next door thing.
yeah.
It's not, she doesn't like you, she can't help it because there's pictures of her on the beach and like those when I said Christy Brinkley, I meant those bathing suits that were cut up so high on the
Oh,
leg.
the high.
Oh, she's got on a one piece striped bathing suit and she's got a surfboard. She can't help it. I mean, she's a girl next door, but she's
Right.
also so beautiful. And, it's not like she spends her time, letting her mom sexualize her.
Yeah.
She did go on, on dates. Oh, here we go. Helene Francis. She said, I saw a film clip of Tammy. She's very talented. I haven't signed her, but I'm negotiating.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, she like just like you said, she was about to break.
Yeah.
And again, she wasn't just like, I'm pretty, look at me. She was, I sing, I dance, I act, I want to do all of it.
Right.
And it's interesting that Keith Roberts said she wanted $300 to start her life and go into the health care field. She always wanted to be a nurse.
Yeah.
Right.
Huh. Well,
I would love if anyone knows about this, if anyone was around, if anyone has a theory, because, there was also, and I didn't even want to say this one, but I'll throw it out there. There was a theory that she was 3 months pregnant. I don't know if anyone in her family confirmed it, her mom, her sister. I don't know where it came from. That's why I hate to even say it. But maybe, by the 80s, it's not like it was in the 60s.
Oh! She had to
If
go
you're
into
pregnant.
hiding because
Right.
she's pregnant. Yeah,
Right. Or
no,
go off
not
to a women's
not in
institute.
83.
Right. Right.
Like,
Right.
yeah, okay.
So I don't even want to say that because there's already so much going on. I will tell you, I think it's down to either she walked away from her life and I don't know if she just wasn't found, or Keith Roberts.
Yeah.
That's just my theory. People don't believe you when you tell them people walk away from their lives and they die. I had my doctor yell at me about an episode and say, people don't just die. And I go, no, what they do, doctor, who's had 8 years of, whatever,
Right.
is they walk away from their life. They sit down somewhere, they get dehydrated and they die, because their brain's not working.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, mental illness, it's not.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joshua.
Yeah. And especially if it's, I mean, a lot of stuff starts to settle in as your hormonal shifts in that era,
Right.
17 to
Right.
20-ish.
Exactly. I mean, it's one of the hardest times, to be alive. You aren't in the entertainment industry and you still feel like you have the pressure of the world on your shoulder. Here you are, this young girl who's been doing it your whole life and you still love doing it and you want to do more.
Yeah,
but, did something happen at the party? Did she just have a break at that time that coincided with the party?
Yeah. Who knows? Wow.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
And if she was, quote unquote, 3 months pregnant at the time of her disappearance, it would have been between the March and July time when she was sequestered and introverted and suspicious and paranoid. I mean, it doesn't mean she couldn't have snuck out or somebody couldn't snuck in, but what's the likelihood she was, being sexually active and having a breakdown at the same time?
Oh, I don't know.
Right.
I mean,
right.
In that environment, I don't know that having a breakdown would stop people from taking advantage of her.
Absolutely. But she was living at home with her mom, who was, not, a general, but kept a close eye on her because she was not acting like herself.
Yeah. And I mean, she's an adult, but
barely, right.
She's
on the precipice. Yeah.
She's still getting nurtured, getting taken care of.
Maybe she did look very mature and act very mature, but she, you're right. Yeah. Her brain isn't even finished developing.
Right. No, I mean, all of us in general,
When do you think yours is going to develop?
I'm waiting. I mean, at some point, I'm thinking.
You're a few years past the 25-year mark, so I don't. I guess we're all just waiting with you. We're all here for you.
At some
Splinter.
Point. Oh boy. I'll get there one day.
Yeah.
Or not.
It's a journey. It's a journey. All right. Well, if you like anything about this weird show, please give us a rating and review on Apple Podcast. We would love to hear from you. We welcome emails at jttipsters@gmail.com. If you want to give us your theory about what happened to Tammy Lynn, if you want to suggest a case, please do that. If you would prefer to keep it more anonymous, you can call us on the Tipster hotline at 832-847-7837. And if you have any information about Tammy Lynn's case, if you were around or knew, even if you know anything about Keith Roberts, please call the Cocoa Beach PD at 407-868-3269. I have a second number for you, 321-868-3251. So you can call either of those numbers. You can always call us, and we look forward to hearing what you think about Tammy Lynn and what happened, and more cowbell.
If you would like to support this podcast and get early access and other cool murderous swag, go to patreon.com/justthetipsters.